All right, this is a Rockwell podcast. We having a very, very, very special guest today, Mr. Ruben Mata, the strong man. I almost want to introduce you with like some legendary myth here.
Oh,
like
do we put like Rocky soundtrack on?
I know, right? Just like
yeah, man, it was a lot of prayers, brother. That's at the end of the day. After you hear the story, that's what it'll come down to. Everyone coming together as, you know, it was the whole, you know, it was the mission that was set out was accomplished by thousands of people, literally thousands.
Yeah.
Had that going on as far as praying and stuff, but I will share that a little later.
So like, okay.
Like you're really like lively and good right now. That wasn't too long ago that you beat this, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago I got released. So I just finished my 14-day quarantine. I met my doctor yesterday. He gave me the clear, good to go. So this is my second day out as far as not having to be here, but I still been here. I've been doing a lot of these Zoom calls. I had 3 yesterday in River Alexander, and there's a lot, you know, getting the word out. And that was part of the mission, leaving the hospital, is getting the word out and bringing clarity of what the situation is, because there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of misunderstanding.
Right.
And that's part of what I set out to do, is to bring some clarity from the experience and not hearing about it, reading about it, you know, talking about it. It was living it. And it was a nightmare.
I can only imagine.
As he laughs, you can't even tell.
Yeah, no, it was a nightmare, dude. I was like, I got to get out of here. I was crawling the walls, man. I was like, well, I'll share it in the story of how I got out of there. It was like I broke out, you know.
He's like, I broke out.
I had to dress like a nurse. No, I'm just kidding.
Is there like a lot of discrepancy? Because like in the world right now, we have so much around this issue, but not a lot of people know like when I should wear a mask. What are the things that can recover? If I get this, what can I do to I guess like strengthen myself, like going through it? Like what was that do, man?
Like always cover your mouth, because you could get that. You know, the virus, I don't know where I got it, because like on the news channels they were saying, you know, I go to the gym, I eat healthy, so I can't say I got it at the gym. I can't say this person gave it to me. I can't say I got it at the store, because I didn't feel that, you know, it's like a cut. When you get a cut, you can say, oh, it's because of the glass, or I couldn't give a definitive point where I said, oh, now I got it. Because it was like a couple weeks, you know, the cold started, got the fever, and these symptoms came. So my thing would be, to answer your question, is always wear the mask. When you feel symptoms, address those really quick. You know, talk to a doctor, go in. I waited like 2 weeks, and I got this, you know, chicken soup, you know, the teas, the ginger, all what I knew, but it was already past that point. And it was in my lungs. So we'll go into that. But for you, it's like cover yourself. Be smart, be intelligent. You know, don't start, you know, freaking grabbing all of, you know, just it's common sense. But sometimes common sense isn't so common, you know. and it's, you know, but the mask. Even when I go out, yesterday at the doctor, I was still wearing a mask. And then after he took his off, and he says, well, you're immune to it now. Says you don't have it, and if if it comes into you, your body will combat it. And that's another thing that we'll share as far as what I'm doing now that I've overcame this and defeated it at a point where I was and where I am now, with the plasma that was created in my blood, to be able to donate my blood, and they will transfuse my blood into people with the virus to fight it, because my plasma is like, I guess it's super plasma, because it beat it. And he said from where I was, because he said I dropped, you know, I wasn't even supposed to make it through the night on Wednesday when I was in there. They already said he doesn't look good. So my sister is like, he doesn't look good.
Not bad.
And yeah, and to come back up, and that was, you know, I guess created some stuff in my blood as well to make it even more powerful. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I'm waiting for a phone call there to go donate some blood.
Wow, that's amazing. And
Yeah,
so,
so yeah, just protecting yourself, getting educated, like
mhm.
viable sources, credible sources. Like you can go on YouTube. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of Google it. A lot of information out there, and not just hearing it from the neighbor or your buddy or your buddy's girlfriend or who knows a nurse of a nurse of a nurse.
There's
And
a lot of mixed stuff though.
yeah,
So,
and how to get it exactly, Andy. And like you're saying, a lot of mixed stuff. And
yeah, and then like speaking straight to you about it, one-on-one, like somebody that's actually had it and beat it is very powerful compared to all the stuff you're reading, because you don't know what's going on those things. On somebody might have had it. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, I think I got it.
yeah,
And all of a sudden they had a cold, but
yeah,
they wanted the attention, so they made a big dramatic thing about it. So you're following that person going, oh my God, I hope nothing happens to them. And really they just had a bad cold,
right.
and it was an attention thing. So you're not really sure like who you can believe or what you should follow, or what path you should go if you do start feeling it,
Right.
and what even that looks like to begin with.
Yeah, and strengthen your immune system.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's because that's where it goes in, where your auto defenses are down. And that's
Right.
what even the doctor shared. He says, once you're out of here, you need to get your immune system up. And it's the vegetables, the fruits, berries. Get your
The vitamin.
antioxidants up to beat the oxidation of stress and everything that goes on in one's life. So I'm drinking this juice, the couple ounces. I posted a link on my wall. What I'm doing, it's like 19 super fruits, and it's like it's crazy. And that's what I've been doing. And
Super natural.
yeah, because it's my immune system, and that's where the virus comes in, because your immune system down. And that's what the doctor said. He said the doctor doesn't. He said the virus doesn't come in and get you. You're already your immune system's down. You're already getting a cold, and it gets in through that. It's created. He goes, it starts in your body, and it starts mutating, I believe he said, and that's where it went into my lungs. So I already had pneumonia since I waited so long. And he said, and it just dropped. He said within 8 hours. And he said, if you didn't come in, you wouldn't have woke up the next day. He says your lungs would have collapsed. They were full of fluid. And he says you wouldn't have woke up out of your sleep. And I was like, dang, Gina. And because I known him for a long time. I used to be a mechanic for Toyota, and I used to work on his car in 1997 and 8. He used to go to the gym too. And I known he was my primary before, and I haven't been to the doctor in a long time. So when I come to out of the coma, and I'm looking at the board where they have the nurse's name and the doctor, and I was like, Dr. Sham. I said, I know him. I said, tell him to hurry up and release me, man. I got to get out of this place. And I was like, but it was crazy how, all this comes around through our life's journey of who's still around. And to see his name was relieving, because I knew he was looking out for my best interests.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's crazy. And so you, as I know you, I'll pretend like I don't. You do a lot of speaking. I met you at one of your events, and you train as well. So coming back, are you concerned about that? Because this is still a global thing where we have to spend a lot of time away from one another. Has that affected how you can get your message to help the people that you were helping in the past?
No, actually, well, being it where I'm able to get it now, right? And not saying I'm going to go in there and put myself in situations. I still will be careful, and I will respect other people's boundaries. But the whole seminar industry changed. I mean, that changed big time with, you see at seminars, turn your neighbor, give them a high five, say you're amazing. Now people touching each other. It's so that we have to adapt. Nobody wants to be in a room full of hundreds of people anymore because of all the pandemic of what's going on. So right now, everything's been put on hold. All of our events, I have 3 cancel out in March, and April's done, and we have some stuff going on that we put on hold for through August. And we're doing some stuff with Brazil right now. Hopefully we'll get everything back together to be able to do big events in November and December in Brazil. So it took a hit. It not took a hit. It impacted our industry. There you go. I'm big with words. Yeah, it impacted our industry. It didn't take a hit. It just impacted, and now it's time for us to adjust. And that's what, you know, with whatever, who's ever out there, you know, you listening, it's adjusting in your industry, because you don't have to unlearn anything. You just learn something new in the industry you already mastered or you already have experience in. Because right now people are jumping ship. They're like, oh my God, what else am I gonna do? I can't do real estate anymore. You know, what am I gonna do? It's just start searching in areas that the waters that haven't been tapped yet in your industry. You know, no more open houses. So because people don't want people in their houses, then do virtual open houses. Get somebody to videotape, something like that. So it's adjusting now to what happened in the environment that one cannot control, but you control your reactions you get to the situation that's been presented to you. And that's where a lot of people are stagnant. We're like, oh my God, deer in the headlight. What am I going to do now? It's like, no, from this point forward, what are we going to do? You know, it's going to be done. There's a lot of reframing of the words that we speak. And that's what the personal development seminars that I give, because it's neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and it's the words that we speak. It's like, are you speaking into greatness? Or are you speaking to fear? Get what you focus on. So
can you talk about that a little bit, about NLP? Because I know a lot of our listeners really don't understand that. We had one guest, you know, Mark. We had him on the show, but just to speak into that, because I think that's really powerful for where people's mindsets are at. I couldn't tell that you were sick, but we both know people right now who don't have the coronavirus who are mentally sick at the moment.
Yeah, and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It's something that's been invented in the early 70s. Richard Bandler, John Grinder, they brought it up, and they were saying about human behavior, how people were changing without having to take any medication. It was just the language patterns they were using. And now that they did research and they're seeing how powerful the mind is seeing how the conscious and subconscious mind work together, that the CEO, the Chief Empowerment Officer, is your conscious mind. That's the one that tells the subconscious mind what to do, the workers, all your past experiences. So the CEO is the little voice, the one that's asking right now, what little voice? That one, the one that tells you to or not to. So that's the one that's going to create to do or not to do. It'll create limitations or it'll create empowerment. Because whatever that says, your worker subconscious mind will go through its past experiences and pull out what it has to get that done. And if it says we're not going to get any better, okay, well, the CEO says we're not going to get any better. So your subconscious mind, the workers, look at files, and for them to say, which one did we use to not get better? Oh, this one. Okay, so let's get those emotions back up again, because we're not getting any better. Because our CEO told us. That was his work order. So then they don't get any better. But when I was in there, I was like, I'm getting better by the minute. How you doing? I'm getting better by the minute. I felt like I was totally out. Like I had a catheter in, I'll share all that stuff, because I was in a coma for 5 days and I couldn't get up, I couldn't stand up. But when they asked me, when I came to, I was like, I'm getting better by the minute. And I kept on telling myself that, because I went to my workers and said, hey, he told us that he's getting better by the minute, so we got to do some stuff, because they were told. They don't know if it's true or not, the subconscious mind. It's like a 7-year-old, and we did a whole study on that, whole training. But that's what it comes down to, is the power of the words we speak. The words we speak are what's going to create your life. If you speak with fear and doubt, that's your results. If you speak with clarity, precise instructions, that's your results. And that's what it comes down to. It's that simple, but it's the complex mind that wants to make sense of everything. And that's how powerful NLP is. And utilizing that and having to do it, instead of telling people what to do, you got to do this. You got to write down your expectations. You got to write down what do you want? What are your desired outcomes? Having to do that's a different story. Easy to tell people what to do. I'm sure we have a lot of friends that are good at that. They tell you what to do and they do the exact opposite when they go live their life. It is what it is. But when having to apply that, or they say, walk by faith, you tell somebody that, but when one tells you that and you got to do it, it's a different story. It's like, oh my, time to walk the talk, buddy. And then when you talk your walk after doing it, it comes out with more conviction. It comes out where you speak through the people, not to them. You speak through them because you're speaking the truth. And no one could question your story because it's your story when you're telling the truth.
That's crazy. What's funny is, like, I'm having this light bulb moment, because Andy, my co-host here, he's a talent manager. He owns a photography company and does a lot of things at a very high level. And I always wonder, and Andy, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, and maybe you could talk about it a little bit, but when he's dealing with his talent, getting them on set, and now Hollywood has been shut down, he has been the voice of reason. He has been the calm and collected one always. I mean, dude, like, is this some of the stuff that you dive into?
For me, I mean, for probably you're asking Ruben, but for me, if I like I have all my talent, so my vision on this is okay. You have to keep it kind of level-minded and positive. Otherwise, your whole team is just gonna crumble and go into what Ruben was talking about, and that'll be out of control. You can't even grasp onto that. It'll screw up your whole game plan. So why not just go with a positive attitude? Like, problem, no problem. We'll get through this. Everything will be positive. And you gotta, the whole time this has been going on, regardless what I've been going through and who's speaking to me or not, my whole mentality with this is I have to hold everybody above me and hold them up there and support them, and be there for them. And that's how I always am with all my talent, all my clients and friends and everybody. So for me, that's just how I run things. I never really tell somebody do this. I ask them to do it in a nice kind of I need this way, because when you tell them to do something, then you get that attitude, and a lot of people don't like to be told what to do. They like to have that kind of collective, we did this together type of thing going on. So I can totally relate to what Ruben was saying. But when you're like, this is my story, and you're direct and you're straight through them, I like that. And I understand that as well. So some good stuff.
Yeah, that's great, Andy. And like you said, that your team will follow. The team is a reflection of the leader. And if the leader crumbles, and John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. And if they're looking at our leader and say, man, he's looking all stressed out, and they're like, oh, shoot. But like you say, keep it. And that's great that you shared. You don't tell people they have to do anything. Like people don't, like, who are you to tell me that? Because what the conditioned mind says, they resist change. And especially when it comes from someone else. It's like, who are you to say it? They'll discount it and ask that. But by providing enough value, and that's what I share with clients, exactly what you said. I will never tell you you have to do anything. I will remind you why you're doing it, or the reason why you told me you're here. It's your words. I'm here to bring awareness to it. I'll never tell you you have to do anything. That's your decision. You're the decision maker. You're the gatekeeper to your life. Who you let in, who you keep out, what you do, what you don't, is your decision. It's just providing the value and reminding them why you're here. And that helps out too. It's like, what's the reason you're here anyways? For money, for your family. And now it's like, yeah, so it shifts their mindset. Just creating and reframing their thoughts, because they're already with the fisticuffs when they have to change.
And if that continues and it continues like that, then time will tell, and maybe they're not on the team anymore. But time takes that one, so it's their choice.
Yeah.
So, Ruben, I just think how incredibly strong you are with all of this. Like, can you tell us just like a background so everybody kind of knows where you've come from to where you are now? I mean, being a speaker, like some backstory on how this incredible man is on our podcast today and who you are, because for people to hear you and see you is one thing, and it's like, how can I be like that? He's not even human. Like, he's up here, right, and I'm over here. But I want people to be able to relate to who you are, because you're sort of some.
Thank you for that. And being mechanic for 15 years, I switched after, because I was before Toyota, and I was saying, is this all I'm going to be in my life? Switched that around. Went into the mortgage real estate industry. That's when it was very successful up to 07 and 8. We're making 7 figures. Everything was going great. And then the market crashed. And that's where, values went down, the values of the home. And when the market went down, so did my bank account. I mean, after having 7 figures and then starting to live off of savings, it was good for a while, but that was the identity conflict that I had of what's happening with the successful millionaire. Now he don't have his stuff. you know, the cars, the Benzes, the toys, the big trucks. And I was maintaining that because I was living that airbrush lifestyle. I wanted people to think it, but I was like inside, man, I was hurting because the savings was going down.
Right.
And, you know, the detailers, the landscapers, even cable was getting cut. Everything I was getting lost because I had that identity conflict of worried what other people's opinions were going to be of me. And by having that, it drove me. And that was that first part of you know, at that time where to land me up into when they're towing my cars, it's like they're taking my dignity, self-respect, because I was tied to the material things.
It was a very low place for you, it sounds like.
Yeah, and that was from being 7-figure, 100 grand a month to putting $10 a quarters in a 93 Previa van. That AC didn't work. I mean, I got a video of that and, you know, documentation of these conversations. So I got video and at the gas station. So what happened was I was I dissociated. I started drinking a lot. I was getting involved in a lot of stuff that wasn't healthy. That landed me in a hotel room. I was on a 5-day binge. And like I said, I got into the bathtub and I was ready to take my life. I was in that bathtub and I remember kneeling down with a razor blade and it was quiet. And I just was ready to end it. And right when I was going to slice my wrist, I heard a voice and it said, "It's not your life to take, stand up." And it said, "It's not your life to take, stand up." So at that point of decision, when I stood up, I knew it was no longer about me. It was about a bigger purpose and helping people and going out. And I had to switch my environment because my behavior needed to change. And to get my potential to be something different had to change by the environment that I was at. So I got more involved in church. I got more involved in the self-development arena, where I read a book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, of the Millionaire MMI, that I train all over the world now as a trainer for that company and for that event. So I started getting involved in that. Then I was able to get connected with other people and started a foundation. My foundation helps the homeless and youth detention ministry. We got a branch in Ghana where we help the orphans out there, where there's a lot of stuff happening now with the virus. I wrote a book. It's called Stand. A stand, and the reason why I'm pointing is because I'm referencing the man upstairs, because where I'm at, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And the reason why I call it Stand is because when I told me to stand up. So that's another thing. And then my foundation is Stand Foundation. My personal development company is called Stand Development Trainings. Everything is Stand, because when I heard his voice say, "Stand up." And then represented the U.S. at the World Peace Summit in Korea 3 years, and spoke at the United Nations 3 times of what my foundation is doing to bring peace to the world, as far as connecting them, having a relationship with God, connecting them back into society at a smoother pace with my trainings with people who were in prison, just different things like that. And finally, I was like, when I was in jail, when I was in the hospital, I was like, man, God must have said, "I'm using all the equity you have in your helping people tank your account, and I'm withdrawing it to give it to you. But you're going to need to fill it back up, because now you know your purpose. It's not position anymore, because I was so tied to position. You know, I got to do this. I got to go to this event. I got to go to that event. I'm speaking here. I'm going to start my mortgage company, because I had to adjust to what's going on now. And it was a lot of spinning plates. And I felt I was held back and said, "I'm giving you these talents. I'm giving you that. You're not earning them yourself. I'm allowing it to happen." And I felt that was one of the learnings as well, of saying, time out. You need to slow down. Like, slow down. And boy, did he slow me down. Because after hearing and saying, okay, what's going on? What's the learnings? And that was it. Align myself with who I truly am with my priorities, because before, my priorities were not aligned with my identity of who I said I was and my true purpose in life, because I was so concerned with other things. And I distanced myself from him. And he's like, wait a minute, time out. So that was one of the learnings as well. And to realize that he was the foundation of the reason why I got out of there. Because even the doctor said, I'm going to post a video on Facebook later of my appointment with the doctor. And he says, "You got a guardian angel up there." He says, because he goes, "I never seen anybody crash so quick when you came in." He said, when you were admitted in Sunday morning, Sunday night, you were done. He said, you were out. So we had to induce you into a coma, to put the tube down your mouth, because you weren't breathing and your lungs were filling up with fluid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, and then when they asked me, well, we need to let you know that we're gonna intubate, or I said, what's that? He says, well, we stick a tube down your mouth. And I said, what are my options? He says, you don't have any. And I was like, well, let's do it. And it wasn't one of those ego things that let's do it, I don't care. I was like, well, let's do it because this happens, living that cause. What's the solution? It wasn't like, well, what other things? Okay, what can be done? Nothing. Okay, well, go ahead and do it. What's the next step?
Mm-hmm.
And not swim in it because I'll get more of it. It's like, oh, well, if the doc said that, then it is what it is. And I wasn't in a position to make decisions anyway. So that's when I remember just boom, and I was out till Friday. But then apparently they pulled the tube out, put more antibiotics on Wednesday, see how I reacted. And that's when he said, I told my sister, I don't think he's going to make it through the night. First, they said 40% in the day. And then at the night, they said he doesn't look good. He's not receiving any of the antibiotics. He's not taking anything. And then they put the tube back in. And he said, all of a sudden, Wednesday night, Thursday, he started coming around. I said, that's when all the prayers hit the top notch. they hit Big Papa up there. And he says, all right, now he's getting it. So Thursday, I'm getting better. Friday, they took me out of coma, took the tube out, and I came to Friday, started like hallucinating. It was crazy. People were on the side. I closed my eyes. There's like bats everywhere, black bat, crazy. And it was just scary to close my eyes. And as I said, it was like a nightmare. Wow. So then Friday, I get out. Saturday, I couldn't sleep Friday. Saturday, I started to feel better. And that's when the nurse came in and I was like, hey, where's Dr. Sham? Tell him to let me out. And I was in, what do they call that? Quarantine. Like I was away from everybody. And I was like, nobody, like I couldn't, they come in with helmets and all covered, gloves and everything. Yeah, it was like I had the virus, but like the plague. I was like, nobody wanted to like, ooh, because they would just look through the window, and I was like, what, am I your entertainment kind of? Because I was just like, that's the one, because I was the first virus guy there, and people were waving, and the nurse said, do you remember her? I said, no. She goes, she took care of you the other night. I said, I don't remember anything. And she goes, a lot of people didn't think you were making it, and now that they see you, that's why they're like throwing thumbs up, waving. That's cool. And then so they took everything out, the catheter, took everything, and they shifted me up to the second floor. Went up there, and I was like, I'm feeling good. I asked the doctor what happened. He says, your lungs look good. Your lungs are healing good. Your blood count's good, because I had sepsis, infection of the blood, which I didn't know. I had sepsis, and he says, your white blood cell count's good. Your numbers look good. Your blood pressure looks good. So we'll keep you here because you haven't been up in 6 days. Your equilibrium's off. You have no balance. We want to see where your reactions are. So I said, everything looks good though. Yeah. He goes, yeah. I said, okay. So he leaves, the nurse leaves, and then all of a sudden after they leave, I get up and I had the IV and I disconnected it. I'm walking around the room. I was like, watch, I'm going to get out of here today. So I started getting up, standing up, like doing squats, right? And with the machine, and I was like stretching, getting my balance, like if I'm going to tie my shoes, and I was like, whoa. And slowly I was doing that for like 15 minutes. And then after I called the nurse and I said, hey nurse, so what did the doctor say? What time is he releasing me? I was like, NLP and presupposing. I said, what time is he releasing me? She says, well, he says, you look good. And she goes, hold on, let me go tell him that you look good. Like you're walking around. I said, yeah, I'm ready to go. I could get dressed and leave. I'm good to go. I'll stay. They say you have to stay quarantined for 14 days. That was one of the conditions. Like stay in my room at the house 14 days. I said, I'll do that. So she comes back in and says, the doctor says he'll release you tonight at 7 p.m. And I was like, great. She goes, my shift ends at 7, so you'll release before then. So I called my brother and said, hey, could you pick me up? He said, yeah. I told her, and then they released me. And I was like, I'm out. And I was like, kind of walking. I was like, yeah. And all the nurses were like, oh, like, like he survived. And I was their first like victory patient.
That's amazing, Ruben. Come on, man. That's crazy.
And it was like, yeah. And then the next day, and then this one guy was like saying, oh, that's a bunch of, whatever. He said, he was with my friend the week before, and now he was in a coma for 5 days. And now on the 6th day, he's giving an interview. that's BS or whatever. And I was like, because I did an El Aviso interview last week. I was like a week, but his timeline was off. But he was like, yeah, on the 6th day, he's already giving an interview. And I didn't respond. I didn't reply or anything because I don't give that any energy. But my thing is, that's the things of God. A miracle is something that man cannot explain. When it's a shift like that, even the doctor says, I don't know. He says, even my wife was praying. He said, but you got a guardian angel up there. And I said, amen, brother. I just like, I ain't resisted anything. I ain't denying anything. He says, you deny me here, I'll deny you when I meet you later. And I was like, it's like, I just share that because that's what I feel. And there was literally thousands of people praying. When I put on Facebook where I was off for 5 days, and then there's some stuff happening on Facebook. It's crazy. When I got back after 5 days and put, oh, I just came out and I feel good, I may be released, there's like over 1,400 likes and like a lot of comments and shares. And I was just like, whoa. And then going at it, there was like thousands of people praying, like priests, pastors. There were people with Reiki sending positive energy. There were just all these types of energetic, positive things were going all at once. Yeah. And it was like the nation came together. And I was like,
get this one. This is the one that we need to get.
Yeah.
You can't
and
go.
I was like, man. And somebody asked if I ever was fearful of dying. Like, did I ever think I was going to die? And I said, that never crossed my mind. Not in an ego way, but it was like, that's what my mom and dad is still growing up. Is my mom would say, pray about it. Faith, have faith. Everything's going to work out exactly how it's supposed to. So when they would come in and say that, I'd be like, hey, what's the next step? I didn't know how bad I was, either for being in a coma or however, but it's like, what's the next step? And after hearing all, like my sister was giving the reports of what the doctor was saying, it must have been challenging for them. And I don't know how bad it was. And I didn't fear like, this is it, I'm going to die, because I knew it's just whatever God's will is going to be his will. And let's go. And if it's time to go, then it's time to go. And if it's not, then it's not. I find the learnings and adjust and move forward because, I take care of my disabled brother. So I felt my mom was up there saying, you still got to take care of your brother. Get back down there, So, yeah, so that's where I'm at. He's good. He checked out right. My other brother checked out all right. So,
Do you have a huge family?
No, just my brother, my 2 brothers.
Okay.
My sister. Yeah.
That's amazing. Like it just sounds like literally you were in a moment where everything came together to say, no matter what, we have to get this guy out. He is not done. He is not ready to go. Ruben is not,
Yeah.
I mean, like when they went to go pick you up, did they have the whole gloves and mask thing?
No, they had the regular one, but not when I was in quarantine, it was like the helmets, even the x-ray techs had covers. Like everybody was like, when they go in the quarantine room, it was like, even I asked for a phone charger. Mm-hmm. I said, can I borrow your phone? And the nurse was like, no, nobody has one, but nobody wanted to lend it. And then, cause nobody went out to the quarantine room. So she brought it in on a Ziploc bag, popped the 2 things for the plug through there. And she said, here, you can use mine till I get off of work. So she plugged it in the wall. She goes, give me your phone. And she plugged it in. And after she took it out and in a Ziploc bag and like took it. And it's like, that's how it is, with the virus. Cause nobody, like, he's got it 100% for sure, for sure. And it's just, people like, there's one of my friends, my good friend's sister got it, and she was clean. She's like cleaned everything. She had gloves, she had the mask, she would fly and like clean the seats and everything, and she got it. So, I don't know, how much to cover yourself, but what I do know is if you strengthen your immune system, then that'll help you fight against the virus or getting sick. And that's what he says, strengthen your immune system. That's why with that one juice that I'm drinking, go to rubenmata.com, check it out. That's what because people are saying, what are you doing? And that's my thing. If people get it, great. If they don't, great. But my thing is, what am I doing? Drinking that juice and eating healthy, getting rest. That was a thing too. Cause fitness, you know how you are, Alexander. It's like, I'm all right. The doctor said a week, I'm already training in 2 days, and that was the mental mind freak of saying, hey, you got to pay attention now, because by not got you in there. So, I mean, I've been legit, and it's been hard, you know, not doing anything. But as soon as this week's over, it's already back to, you know, the plyometrics, slowly come back in, the calisthenics, because 1 month is enough of not training. Because I could already feel the sides going down, you know, on the fitness side of being, you know, going to the gym, that ego side of, you know, let's go work out. That part was challenging to dominate, which happened, which was great. Now it's saying, okay, what approach am I taking? Because I knew I had a month off. I already gave a month off. So now it's saying, okay, what's going to happen now? Straightly calisthenics, biometric, let's get smart now. And then getting back, because all the gyms are closed anyways.
Right.
So I'm going to the store to see if this place has them. If not, I'll order them online and just get some dumbbells. And if there's weight exercises to do to stay in shape until the gym's open. And then Matt, I just know once having that layoff, when coming back, oof, and you know about it, it's like a setback is set up for a greater comeback.
I've been trying to work out at home, but I mean, like, I'm not coming from the hospital, so you know what I mean? Like, I think you have a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, and to have that, okay, well, you know, your size is going down, you know, what? Of course it is. I'm not training, so that's the understanding of saying, of course not. So I gave myself that month. And now next week, starting, you know, Monday again, it's like, okay, here we go. Let's pick up where we left off. That way, hit the ground running when the gym already opens again. Because it's like, it's on. And even with that much more assertiveness and yeah.
Yeah, Ruben, I mean, that is so incredible. So on top of all of this, not only is he speaking, he's traveling the world. Obviously, COVID-19 did not affect you at all.
Yeah.
It's just, it really hasn't, you really have no limitations on you. I can't, I don't know if there's enough in words. Like there's no limitations that are on you right now. You went through something horrible and you overcame it, overcame 2008. Now it looks like 2020, you overcame that as well. And you have a book, right?
Yeah, standwithruben.com.
Okay,
yeah.
That's awesome. And I know you got to dart out here in a second. The last thing I wanted to ask you for everybody is if anybody is dealing with something or struggling with something right now, because I mean, you are, if anybody to look at, you're Orange County, you're not some Nebraskan. Yeah.
West Side. West Side. Yeah.
Like completely normal guy. You're not in some weird country.
Grew up in the hood. That's why I help a lot of juvenile kids in juvenile hall, giving back, you know, living in the neighborhood. And like you said, I'm ain't nobody better than me. Some of us are just further in the journey than others. And one wants to be like that. And I don't, like, we used to feed the homeless. They shut that down, but I don't discount anybody, because that's, you know, that's not right. That's not me. That's why I help anybody. And like I said, I'm like this with on stage and off. That's what somebody said. He's the same on stage and off. I keep it real, and I never shun away from anybody. I'm always, you know, open to give advice of, you know, my past experiences, and even doing this, it's like, let's make it happen. Yesterday I had the interviews on CBS. That's why I said, let's set it up to this day to make it happen. And thank you for that. So, you know, saying that.
I got a real quick question. So for once you're immune to this and you beat it, and I don't know if you have this answer or not, but I'm sure a lot of people would want to know, is do you become like immune to it to where you just kind of deflect it? You just don't get it again? Or if you do, it's like so watered down, it doesn't really do anything to you?
The doctor said now that the plasma is created, he says the virus doesn't get in you and start doing this. It waits for your immune system to go down. Then it hits the lungs. He says it'll come in. Then it starts taking over. But you don't get the virus and you get sick.
Right.
It says it's already gets in once you're sick. I mean, once your immune system's down. I believe that's how, because it's like, if my defenses were up, it wouldn't have got to that point. But since I let it go so much, and the pneumonia, then that's where it really took over.
Right.
And so he said, I'm immune to it. If it comes in, like, I'll fight it off. And then he'll say they'll read by the plasma of, you know, where you're at after that. But he says, I'm immune to it now. Like, you know, that's, you know, people. And but I tell people, I still wear the mask because people are like, ooh, you know, you're the one that had it. You know, it's like, it ain't no, it ain't no other type of virus. Like, this is, you know, but people, it's like, and that's a misunderstanding too. Is like, you could get it anywhere. It's not like a STD or you have to roll with somebody. It's like you could sneeze. They did a thing on channel 2, or I don't know what channel, where they show somebody sneeze and how it just like goes everywhere. Like,
yeah, the blue light.
Yeah. And I was like, holy mackerel.
That's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. And he'd be like, achoo, and like, woo. And it just like went everywhere. I was like, man, so it's like, but I still wear the mask, respecting people's distance. I'm not like, it's respecting their distance and understanding that. And people are still like, you know, if you're going to come down here to the office, you know, you need to get clearance. And I was like, whatever, dude. You know, documentation means conversation. So, you know, I have that. I'm waiting for it to get the blood work. And once that happens, I'll be giving be donating blood to help other people.
So that's kind of the cure they have now, is the plasma fix.
Right. And then they're saying hydrochloride, and because they gave me those hydrochloride and erythromycin, Zithromax, the Z-Pack. So those were the 2 things they gave me. I guess those are antibiotics. I don't know, because people were asking me. And I said, I don't even know, because I don't commit to anything. But I remember him saying, we gave you the hydrochloride on day 1, and then the erythromycin I was taking even after I left. And I was reading the bottle when they were putting the IV, and I took a picture, and it was erythromycin. It was what they were giving for antibiotics for the, and then I started like coughing and phlegm started coming out, and I was like, yeah, it's killing this stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so, but,
well,
yeah.
Ruben, just in closing here, to anybody who, I would say 5 things that can take away from this situation going further, because this is going to end eventually, and you are such a trooper. And if we have a bunch of eyeballs on you right now, what are 5 things people can do to stay upbeat, stay uplifted, and like do something good instead of thinking that the whole world is over?
I would say the first one is understand this is a season. All these viruses and stuff from the Spanish flu in the early 1900s, they're seasons. All the Ebola, everything is seasonal. And this season will pass. This too shall pass. This is a season. It's like preparing right now for when this season's over and everybody's able to go back out of their homes to be ready to go out and do something, not, oh, now I'm able to do something. It's like when people buy winter jackets in the summer, they already know summer's going to end and there's going to be another season. So what they do, they prepare for winter in the summer by getting a jacket at a discounted rate, and because they know this season will end. And understanding this virus, it's going to end eventually. And to prepare now, when the storm clears and the other season is here, which I call it spring, and it's time to harvest what you planted in this time right now. So just because this is going on right now, you know, I'm an extrovert, I can't stay at home. That's just the conditioned mind telling you that. Right. People give themselves labels. What you tell yourself is going to limit you from learning. Then someone should step back and say, is that serving or non-serving? And that's the part too. And what is the association you're around as well? Is it toxic? You know, who are you talking with? This is powerful as well, even though we're supposed to be confined and it may be challenging. But some people are toxic. And like I said, some people are either on the way or in the way. They're either on the way with you or they're in your way. Mm-hmm. And it comes to the point of setting boundaries of saying hello or goodbye. And yeah, and the takers of your time will not be happy because they no longer have that privilege because you set boundaries. And that will show other people to respect your time and your wishes as well. I don't know where that came from, but there you go on that. Also, get educated and stay inside. Stay inside. And while you're in there, clean the room, clean your office, do something productive and make a list of what you're going to do in the day. When you make a list, what is it? You fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
You make a list, and as you're done, you just check them off. And that gives one the self of satisfaction, of validation, makes them significant, and makes you feel accomplished. So it's like, cool, I got that done, I got that done. Well, can't get that done. Okay, great. Just set it up for tomorrow. So plan your day, bring that out, and get educated, strengthen your immune system. Strengthen your immune system by either, not stressing out as much, the superfoods, the juice, rubenmata.com, check that out. I'm doing that. And just take time out and not have to control everything. Your life is, you were meant to be living under control, not controlling everything. When one lives that way, stress is like, nobody could do it like me. I do it my way, but then there's too many spinning plates. Mm-hmm. And too many spinning plates create stress, oxidation, and that's when things start happening. So that's my to-go advice or opinions.
Okay. That was awesome, man. And it's so much of what we've been preaching here at the show. So we appreciate you coming on and taking the time.
Thank you.
I know you're doing a lot right now, and it's like you are just on fire. You just can't even tell.
One of my buddies goes, "Hey, dude," he says, "I know you like attention," and you go, "Your attention," he says, "I know you like it, but I think you're taking this a little too far." And then I was like, he goes, "To go to that extreme," and I said, "Hey, you know how when people, their careers needed like a jump start and they create chaos?" I said, like homegirl shaved her head and the other one did this, right? He says, and I said, I had to go to this. I said, because man, I'm getting on channel 2, getting on channel 9. I said, it jump started it again, brother. And he started laughing. He says, "You're crazy, man." I said, "Nah, but this was a real wake up call." And talking about jump starting, it jump started my life back to where it's supposed to be aligned with who I say I am and my purpose. That's where I reset everything. Like when you're putting in gas, you have to reset to 0 before you put it in. I felt my life was reset to 0 to say, okay, what's really going on? Now the foundation is set. Now let's move forward again with the right priorities and values aligned with who you say you are, and you're not incongruent with that, because people will feel it when when one isn't speaking their talk right. There's just that offness. Your tonality changes, your body language changes. But now when one speaks in the alignment, it's just like you get it because you're speaking the truth and nobody could question that.
So show us that book again real quick.
Yeah.
Standwithruben.com. There you go.
Yeah, and you can get that at standwithruben.com. No, this is standwithruben.com. There you can get it at the website there. That's my website. And then the rubenmata.com is that drink. So there it'll get your immune system up, and then stand development will get your mind up. So it's just like helping people spiritually, mentally, and physically and emotionally through all what's happening. And those are the 4 areas that have the balance and needed to be realigned again together. Are those 4 areas, and that's what it took to say, hey, time out. Like Nebuchadnezzar, he took him out, said, "This ain't yours." Had him go eat grass with the cattle and the hay, and all that. So that's what I felt. What happened?
Cool.
Like, reset, baby, reset.
Thank you. Operating system,
man.
Yeah. Navigation. Please return to the highlighted route. Please return to the highlighted route. If not, I will make you return. The navigation, right? That was a good one, Andy. Navigation. Please return to the highlighted route. You are way off.
That's great.
Well, I just friended it on Facebook, and it was awesome meeting you as well.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. Thanks, both of you. And whoever is listening, thank you for investing time in your day and listening to these 2 amazing individuals. And continue to follow them. Continue to follow them. They're giving you amazing content. I'm sure, all what you always provide is of value, and people could take a lot away from it. Take notes and refer back to it, and check out this video again and all the other ones you have. And say hello to your mother as well. Tell her thank you. Because when you reached out, I was like, Alexander. And I was like, didn't ring a bell. And then I was like, okay, I got it. Let me see. And then I was like, oh, okay, I remember where we met. And then I was like, okay. Then I was like, right away, I called back. But it was like, because a lot of people are reaching out. And I got another one in a bit, but there are a lot of people reaching out. They want to do, different shows, and I'm selective. But once I seen it, I was like, okay, now I know, because your mother went to my events in Vegas as well, and then the one in Orange County, and then the one in LA, and it's just like, and that's a part of reciprocity. It's like relationship currency. She invested in herself to go to my events, and I hold that dearly. So when I seen that, it's like, wait, now it's your turn to give back. There's this reciprocity. Why only take, but now it's my turn to give back. And when you reached out, it was like not even a second guess. Let's make it happen. Because it took a couple days for me to respond. And I was like, because I was going through so much, and I was like, once I seen that, then I responded and said, let's make it happen. But it was, because it was that relationship currency. It's like people, they're either givers or takers. And when I seen that, and tell your mom, because of her, that I was like on the show because of what she invested in herself.
You want to know what? And I don't want to leave the other person out that actually told me to reach out to you to have you on the show. Because Mike had reached out to me and told me you were in the hospital.
Who was that? Michael
Stevenson.
Oh yeah, he had a big part of this as well. Thank you, Michael C. He had a major part because he helped my sister like with mental stuff, because he's the one who showed me NLP. But really, Michael's the one that told you. Wow.
Yeah, it was both of them. They got on a call and called me, and I was like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Look on Facebook." And I was like, "Oh my God."
I didn't put no pics up there. Somebody was putting pics up there, but of like the past, everybody's like,
yeah, it was amazing. So the next thing that you have, man, we're gonna shoot all of our viewers to go and get your book. Get on his juice cleanse if you want to be as passionate as this guy.
Yeah, that helped out a great deal. Yeah,
yeah. We'll definitely push that for you, man. I mean, you are such a kind-hearted soul. So
thank you very much, and thank you, Andy. Keep doing what you do, taking them pictures, getting the music out, whatever you do. Alexander, still do what you do, still staying fit. Hey, you got Band-Aids for them cuts, homeboy?
I know, right? That's right.
You got Band-Aids for all them cuts, man. I was like, right when I met him, I was like, man, you work out, bro? It's like, man. As I started stepping back. No, but that's good. I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing. Continue to do it. And any way I can help, let me know. And I'll let you guys know as well.
We'll have you back on the show soon.
Thanks, man.
All right.
All right. Yeah, good one.
All right, Andy. Take care. Alexander, take care. All right.
Ladies, Ruben.